Hello gainers, I'm Ralphie and welcome to my channel called, excuse me, that's better, Fitter Philosophy, in which I take the opportunity on the YouTube platform, which is a wonderful thing by the way, even though people suspect it isn't quite as cosmopolitan as it used to be in presenting ideas and stuff. But anyway, moving on. Welcome to the channel which brings together practical, experienced, evidence-based stoicism into a little shared philosophy in which I give you the benefit of my experience and hopefully you gain something from my little monologue. And my subject today is strengthening our strengths, because my last video was weakening our weaknesses. And the reason we weaken our weaknesses and we strengthen our strength is so that we use the time we have in the life we have, whatever our circumstances or situations, to better ourselves, to improve ourselves, to develop and grow, quite literally like a seed, a plant seed pops out the ground and grows leaves to collect the sun, to gather the energy and the nutrition from the soil underneath the roots and around the roots, and then eventually to flower, to create that beautiful flower with a beautiful smell, and simply to fulfill the purpose of life. And the purpose of life is to experience it, and to experience life better than one used to is a sign of personal growth. So let's talk about strengthening our strengths. First of all, we need to identify them clearly. And as children, it's not so easy. We know we like to play certain games, or we tend to be very bookish, reading books, or out playing football, or enjoy going swimming. And so we're getting an introduction to our strengths. And as young kids, we know our mind, we know what we do like and what we don't like, and we try to avoid what we don't like, and we try to do more of what we do like. And so long as it's not eating too much chocolate, or just complaining and growling all the time, we should be fine. You know, we're identifying our weaknesses and our strengths. We're getting our bearings. We're gaining our coordinates in our early years. But as we get into our teenage years, particularly if we're surrounded by positive role models and people that can have a proactive influence on us, we start to understand what our weaknesses are and what our strengths are, whether we be artists, musicians, good with computations and mathematics, whether there's certain subjects at school that we really kind of enjoy learning, or whether we happen to be in a crowd of friends where we're enjoying some parkour or role playing or creative whatevers. Our strengths can be as individual as we are individuals, and they can be quite specific, and they can also be more generalized. So we need to not just identify them, but to be able to calibrate them, to say what are our real strengths and what are our big strengths and what are our small strengths. And once we do that objectively, rather than just passively and ambiently and generalized and vague, when we do it more specifically, more targeted, more focused, then we can accelerate the process of strengthening our strengths, because in doing so we automatically weaken our weaknesses. So as we strengthen our strengths at the same time as identifying our weaknesses and weakening our weaknesses, it will have the automatic positive acceleration on our personal growth, so as that we are literally, as days, weeks and months go by, we become better versions of ourselves. We become more refined, more articulate, more dynamic, more powerful. And You don't really notice it in a couple of days or even a few weeks or a month or so. You won't really notice that, but over a few years you'll look back and you'll say, do you know what? I am so far further down the journey of life and the experience of living than I ever thought I would be or ever thought I could be, because I have focused my personal Stoic philosophy on strengthening my strengths and weakening my weaknesses, and therefore, whatever my circumstance, I am more powerful and stronger because of it. So here's your challenge. Number one, look at yourself and be honest with yourself. You've probably identified your weaknesses, because I've done a video on that. So now it's time for you to identify your strengths. Are you physically fit? That's a strength. Are you mentally clear-minded and not subject to being taken advantage of because of your gullibility? That's a strength. Are you a good artist? That's a strength. Are you helpful and positive amongst your friends, supporting them as much as they support you? That's a strength. There's a lot of strengths out there. So note down your top 3 strengths, and then underneath give 3 more reasons why you can strengthen those 3 strengths. That's all you need to do. Life is so much simpler than we are encouraged to believe it is. We're encouraged to believe certain things because entities out there, and it's not just people, there's other entities, want to control us, manipulate us, dominate us, own us, and possess us. It is our responsibility to be masters of our own ships that we sail on the oceans of life. We are the captains of our ship, and our hands should be on the steering wheel, and we should be in a position to fill the sails and make our journey in safety. I'm Ralphie, hope you've enjoyed this. This is your Stoic Philosophy channel, eccentric, practical, experience-based, and if you enjoyed this and you haven't already subscribed, please do, and I'll be back again before too long with another Stoic philosophical conversation with you. Take care of yourself now, because you're valuable, important, and you're about to strengthen your strengths. See you soon. Bye-bye.